Today, I'm going to talk to you about the biggest mistakes to avoid when relocating and buying real estate in Miami, Florida. And I'm going to get started now. Hey everyone, my name's Jamie Pretzi. I'm a real estate agent in Miami-Dade and Broward counties. I work with my husband, Ogden Pretzi, and our team. Today, I'm going to talk to you about some of the biggest mistakes to avoid when relocating and buying real estate in Miami, Florida. But first, before I get started, if this is your first time here, hit that subscribe button so you never miss another update. We do put out new videos every week. Also, use the link in the description box and download our free relocation guide. In that guide page, you'll find a lot of helpful information. Also, we'll add you to our weekly newsletter. And if you would like to give me a call, text, or email me, all that information is in the description box as well. Okay, let's get started. Very often when people are thinking about relocating and buying real estate in Miami, Florida, they have something in mind, but they're just not quite sure. I get a lot of people who are thinking about relocating here. Maybe they've never been here before, or their friends told them that Miami's great, or their friends live here and they told them that Miami's great. So there's a lot of different reasons why people are thinking about relocating to our city. But I think that these are some big mistakes that people make, and they don't really think through the process correctly. So let's avoid these mistakes and hopefully help you make a smooth move to our city. One of the biggest mistakes that I see people make is they come here and they start looking at real estate, but they've actually never been here before. And Miami-Dade is a huge county, and also a lot of people go back and forth between Miami-Dade and Broward. So sometimes people think that they want to move to Miami, but actually Broward is a better fit for them in terms of budget and what they get for their money. So I think one of the most important things that you should do before you come and start actually looking at real estate is to come and spend some time here and drive around both counties to see what kind of fits your lifestyle. Now, if you're a city person and you want to buy a condominium in the city, done. That's easy peasy. We can help you find properties in the city, especially a condominium at a certain price point or budget. But if you're looking for a single family home and you have other things to think about, like school and the location of your job and your actual outside activities every single day, you have to spend some time doing a bit of due diligence before you come and start looking at real estate. I say this because after years of working with buyers who are relocating here, I know that if someone has never been here before, they're going to come start looking just based on budget. And budget is one thing, but your lifestyle and what you're trying to do every single day is completely different. Another mistake that I see people make is making themselves have a super long commute and not really understanding the nuances of that commute. If you're buying a property, for example, in Broward, and you have to come into Miami-Dade every day, it's really important to do that drive during different times throughout the week. Not just on the weekend when the traffic is low and we're out looking at real estate. You need to do that drive during rush hour in the morning and in the evening to see if you can handle that drive every single day. Because our traffic has gotten very tedious here, and for me, I'm not a traffic person, so I cannot do that. Some people don't mind it. Some people do it and then later wish that they hadn't done it. So I highly recommend that you don't make the mistake of buying real estate in one area where you have a very long commute into another part of Miami-Dade or Broward counties. Another mistake that I see people make when they're thinking about relocating here is not really understanding what you get for your money. A lot of times people will just look at real estate online and think that they can, buy a house for a certain price point, but they don't realize that that price point for that property is way out west and very far away from everything that they would do every single day. Again, that's why it's very important to come here, drive around, and get a feel for what you get for your money. And another mistake that I see people make is, especially if you need financing, obviously if you're paying cash, you have a budget, unless you have unlimited cash, which is great too. But if you need financing and you have to set a budget, You need to include taxes and insurance is a big deal here. We go over all of this at our buyer consultation, and we can connect you with local lenders and insurance agents to have these extra discussions with you. If you need to set a budget around financing, it's very important to speak with a local lender, one who understands sort of what the cost of insurance could be. And I say sort of because there's really no way to know until you get into that specific property with the insurance reports and everything. But a lot of times I see people use some, big box lenders, and they'll give a quote for insurance and it's way lower than what in reality insurance costs here. So going back to that, you really need to make sure that you align yourself with professionals who really understand the cost of what it takes to buy a property here, so you can set a budget around that price point. Maybe Miami doesn't work for you. Maybe Miami is too expensive and you need to relocate to a different place. But I think before you spend time running around looking at properties, I would highly recommend that you do a bit of that due diligence in advance so that you can spend more time looking at properties that actually match what you want, or eliminate altogether and don't waste your time flying here looking at properties and running around all weekend trying to see properties that may or may not work for you. One thing that sometimes people are not aware of is that real estate agents, we cannot give advice about schools. So if a school situation is very important to you, you need to really do that research in advance and know where your kids will go to school. It's not something that we can discuss. So I highly recommend that if living in a certain area is important to you or a certain school is important to your family, please do that research in advance. Just the school stuff, activity stuff, all of that, you really need to do those types of researches in advance. There are a lot of nuances when it comes to buying real estate in our area, and there is a lot to know. These are some of the biggest mistakes that I see people make when they're thinking about relocating and buying real estate in Miami, Florida. I hope that this has helped you think through some of those details, and we're always here to be a resource for you. We cover all of this at a buyer consultation, and we go into a lot of details so that we can help make sure that you spend your time looking in the right areas at the right properties for you and your lifestyle and what you're trying to get out of relocating to this amazing city. My name is Jamie Pretzi. This is my husband, Ogden Pretzi. You can find us online on Instagram at The Pretzis, and we will see you soon.